Good evening. I just wanted to make a video about reselling video games and the perception people have of resellers and why it's such a dirty word nowadays. I don't know what is up. I mean, people can buy and sell literally anything, but when it comes to video games, there's such a stigma attached to people that buy video games and resell them. I can't think of anything else where people get so pissed off that somebody's got ahead of you, for example, and bought something that you perhaps had your eye on or perhaps that you wanted, and then went on, sold it, made a profit, and then people hated them for it. Video games is quite unique in that respect. I mean, antique dealers, I know in the UK we have a hell of a lot, or at least when I was in the UK, we had antique programs every day. I mean, those programs are based on people buying something and reselling it for a profit. That's the whole concept of the show. That's the whole idea. That's what antiques are. And to a greater or lesser extent, video games are antiques as well. They're not antique furniture, but they're antique items in the sense that they are antiquated. They are old items, and they're getting older. So it's strictly not antiques, if you know what I mean. But there's no set defined time given to what could be considered an antique. So vintage games, retro games, but they will be antiques eventually, very soon. I'm pretty sure some of them might be considered antiques. Some of the old Ataris and stuff like that, I would call them antiques. They're pretty old. Right, so good resellers and bad resellers. Now, the thing is with antiques, the antique programs. This is my comparison, basically. These people, they have a genuine love for antiques, or maybe a portion of it, so ceramics or silverware or furniture, brown furniture. For example, they love something about antiques, and that's why they want to get involved in it. That's why they want to buy and sell, and just have a little bit of fun with it. And no one can say anything bad about that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Now, my idea of someone that's a good reseller is someone that is genuinely interested in the items that they're buying and reselling. They have an affiliation with it. They have an emotional connection to it. So they want to be involved with it. The reason that they're doing that is because they have a passion for it. They have a passion for the items, so they want to be immersed in those items. Like an antiques dealer, if you go to their house, guarantee you their probably house is full of antiques, because that's what they want. And being an antique dealer is a way for them to surround themselves with these objects that they love. So that's what I think video game collecting is about as well. It's about a passion. It's about love. And it's not necessarily about playing every single game that you've got, because people totally just miss the point, totally, that because you collect, that you should dedicate all your time to completing every single game that you have in your collection. And that just doesn't, it's not going to happen. A collector loves these games not just because they're good games, but they like the box art, they like the way it looks, they like the fact that it's worth money, and they like the fact that it could be a good investment, and it could rise, but it could go down as well, you know. It sounds like stocks and shares, but yeah, that's the thing. They're an emotional investment, and they're a monetary investment as well. They're two things, and they're not necessarily there. I mean, put it this way: just because people have antiques, but they don't go next to their antiques, stroking their antiques every day, and people don't get pissed off with them because they're not stroking their antiques every day. And people seem to get upset because if you've got loads of games, then maybe they just can't get around to getting them themselves, or I don't know, maybe they're just too lazy or not motivated enough to try to expand their collection, or maybe they genuinely just don't understand why people collect, and they're just like, why don't you just have like the games that you're playing, like the 5 games that you might be playing on different systems at the moment? And that doesn't make sense to me at all. So that's why I think people are motivated to collect. Now, part of that collecting, this is kind of going a bit screw with, but part of that collecting, sometimes you get surplus stuff, and eventually you're going to come across stuff that you have, and you get doubles of. I mean, I just bought a lot, and it came with another Secret of Mana 2 and another Super Street Fighter box. So I've got 2 games now that I could pass on, and I'll probably get my money back for that lot just from reselling those 2 games. I don't have any issue with that at all, and I don't think that anyone else should either. You know, it's like if some people just consider reselling, I think they completely can't read between the lines, and they just consider reselling means bad, you know, and they can't fathom the difference between someone that genuinely has a love for that field, that activity, and that's why they're doing it, and they can sell on extra items that they have, and that shouldn't be of anyone else's concern. I really don't get the negativity around. Now, that's me personally. I do sell. I buy lots, and I keep some of it. Mostly the box games for myself, and the cartridges I'll normally shift off because I don't want cartridges. So that means I can sell them and get my money back for the lots that I buy. That's what I do. I've got no hang-ups about that. I'm not stitching anyone up. I try to do the cheapest price that I can. I try to undercut everyone else and deliver the cheapest price possible. The other thing that I can do is just sell them and give the money to charity. But I'm not Moses. I'm not Jesus. And this money comes back to me, and I sometimes use it for my family as well. And I think that if people have a problem with that, then I really can't get my head around it at all, because it's like just saying that reselling is just bad. Now, the bad examples of resellers. Now, I've seen them. I was at a car boot sale in my where I used to live, Rains Park in southwest London, and this there was these people just walking around. There was this big African woman, and she just every time someone opened their car boot, she'd be muscling people out of the way, like jewelry, video games, phones, sell them to me, you know, like just totally bullying everyone out of the way, but really aggressive, no manners at all, and people were sort of intimidated by her, and half the people actually sold the items to her first because she was the loudest, you know, and some people would just stand their ground and say, listen, you go away, I'm going to put the stuff on the table, everyone's going to have a fair crack, you come back later. But yeah, she did. She managed to squeeze a couple of things out of people, and I missed out on games. And so there's no way that this woman's taking these games home and playing them. I've had various examples. I went to another stall and I picked up, some bloke had PlayStation games there, PS1 games. Street Fighter for free, I remember, was one of them. All in really excellent condition and complete, 50p each. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to pick them up. And then this woman came over and she went, oh, you know what? You can sell those on eBay for about £7 each. And I was just thinking, right, okay. I said, I might sell some of them on if I don't have them, but they're for me. And if I do have a double, or if I don't want the game, I will sell it on. But what's it her business coming over and saying that for? You know, it's just like she obviously got pissed off because she wanted to resell, and I got there first. And it's those sorts of people. they're just like mostly to be honest, from what I experience in the UK, it's old women. My sister's friend's mum, I went to a car boot sale with, and then she knew that I did this, right? And she was, I don't really want to talk about her, but she was one of these people. She had this disabled badge in her windscreen, but she wasn't really disabled. Anyway, so I went to a car boot sale, and I told her, like, you know, I sold video games, and then she started going to all the stalls ahead of me and started picking up all the games. And I was just like, wow, this woman's got no shame at all. So a whole folder of PS1 games with the Street Fighter puzzle game, Super Street Fighter puzzle, loads of really great games in a folder for like 15 quid. Yeah, I was pretty upset because I knew that she did not want to play any of those games. They were just completely for her to resell. Those people, they are bad resellers. Totally soulless. They don't like video games. They're not interested in video games. They're buying it and they're just going to resell. Now, for me to sort of judge them wrongly and badly for it is maybe kind of double standards, because in some people's eyes, because they say if you do any reselling you're the same as them, but I don't agree with that, because I think that people that are doing it to expand their own collection, why not? You know, why should anyone not do it? I think because if it gets you some money back, then it makes economic sense. So yeah, that's just my take on things, reselling and such. You know, it's kind of I don't know, sort of. I'm not upset about people that would judge me for reselling stuff on and stuff, but I just think it's just mad that some people just get really bitter and angry about people that make money from stuff that they weren't probably in the same city or country as you, and they're just like, oh, it's a reseller, oh, no, I don't want to deal with him. Yeah, so that's it. Resellers, good and bad and ugly. That's me. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye bye.